There are many reasons people choose a career in the law. For one, the law offers a stimulating and challenging intellectual environment. Lawyers are constantly and every day asked to weigh in on some of the greatest societal and legal issues across the country. Secondly, there's an access to influence that attracts a lot of people to law. You get to make major decisions in corporations, in boardrooms, and governments in your community. And finally, there are positions of respect and honor that accompany being a lawyer. For instance, the powerful legal tradition in this country has laid the groundwork from the second President of the United States, John Adams, to the current President of the United States, Barack Obama. And honestly, the financial rewards can be pretty nice as well. Recent graduates from some of the top law schools in the country can earn upwards of $120,000, $130,000, $150,000 a year. But law schools don't only prepare their students for careers within the legal industry. For some time now, there have been more law students than lawyers, and so law schools have become very adept at preparing their students for careers outside of law. A legal background is extremely useful in a lot of different fields. Fields that require a strong intellect, or argumentative writing, or even logical reasoning. These fields like public service, education, and non-profit organizations can always benefit from having a lawyer on hand. So if you're looking to shift your career focus, or you really want to serve your community, you don't have to be a practicing attorney, and law school can still benefit you. When deciding where to apply to law school, there are a lot of factors that students need to consider. Perhaps the most important factor is whether to apply to a national program or a local program. National programs prepare students to practice anywhere in the country, and these usually include the top 25, top 50 programs. Schools like Stanford and Harvard, for instance, prepare students to practice as a lawyer anywhere in the United States, where other schools focus on the local law and the local president so that students are prepared to practice in those jurisdictions. This is important because as a law student, you need to be considering what your options are after you graduate. If you go to a local program, then you're much more prepared to practice in that state. Whereas if you go to a national program, you can move around, but you'll often have to take a little bit more of a preparation when preparing for the bar in the state that you end up in. One of the most overlooked factors in applying to law schools is the bar passage rate. Law school's jobs are to prepare you to pass the bar and practice as a lawyer. So you should consider how well they do so. But keep in mind, when comparing bar passage rates, compare them between schools in the same state, as some states have more difficult bars than others. Other factors to consider include geography. Is this the type of place that I want to live for the next 3, 4, 5, or maybe 10 years? What's the environment like? What's the job market going to be like when I get out of law school? You might also consider the atmosphere of the program. Some schools are highly competitive, whereas other schools are a lot more social. Historically, Baylor and BYU have been consistently rated as two of the most competitive schools in the country. And those programs foster a certain type of student in which a lot of people thrive. Some other factors to consider: any special programs that you might be interested in. Some schools have excellent clinical programs on the death penalty, on environmental law. Some schools have great philosophical and legal programs. So do your research when applying to law school. Talk to current students, talk to alumni of those schools, talk to career services if you can, to see what sort of the perception is of recent graduates from those schools in the job market or in that market. The more prepared you are and the more information you have about the law schools that you're looking at, then the better prepared you are to apply to those law schools and then succeed when you get there. One of the most important decisions that students have to make when selecting a program is the type of program that's best for them. Traditional full-time programs are 3 years long. Part-time programs can span anywhere from 4 to 5 years long and typically go year-round, though you have a reduced workload as you only take maybe 1 or 2 classes a semester. Some schools offer joint degrees, JD MBAs or JD MDs, which can extend the length of your stay in that program. For instance, if you want to get both your Juris Doctor and your Master's of Business Administration, you often have to apply to both those schools or both those programs separately, having to take both the LSAT and the GMAT. And then once you get accepted into those schools, you'll be accepted into the joint program. Now, different schools do this in different ways. Some schools accept you into the legal program first, since law school is 3 years, which is 1 year longer than most business schools. And then once in your first year in that law program, they ask you to apply to the MBA program. Some other things you guys need to consider are the different specializations that you may be looking towards in law school. If you want to get an LLM in health or tax law, it usually means you have to stay around for an extra year in that school. So again, do some time, think about what's best for you, and then make the decision about whether to go to the program that you're looking at. If you do choose a full-time program, then your first year in law school is likely to be the same wherever you end up. Most first-year students get a strong foundation of the law through classes like contracts, property, torts, constitutional law, civil procedure, an introduction to criminal law maybe, and almost certainly a legal writing class. After the first year, your options open up to you a bit. While you still have a couple required classes, for instance, I was required to take tax law and evidence, you get to really choose where you want to specialize in. And if you don't know that before you go to law school, this is a very good time to sort of play with the different areas in law. Talk to different students, talk to the 3 Ls, and see what they like to do. You can take trial advocacy classes. You can take sports and entertainment law classes. You can go through a variety of fields until you figure out exactly what interests you, and then specialize in those fields. Outside of work, it's difficult but very important to maintain a good work-life balance. I approached law school like a full-time job. I was there sometimes from 9 in the morning to about 9, 10, 11 at night, which was a good preparation for the long work days ahead of you as a lawyer or even outside the law field. Make sure you get your work done for the next day's class, but also try to get involved in some of the other things that are going on outside of class. Things like moot court, law review, the Student Bar Association, or the various law journals that may interest you. These extracurriculars give you an opportunity to hone your writing skills and build your network for the years ahead.